All right, we've got some drama on the House floor to break down, but first, can we just take a moment to appreciate Representative Jasmine Crockett from Texas, because she's playing the game right, more so than almost any other Democrat. I've been complaining on the show a lot about how we're always responding to the Republican narrative, how it feels like we're playing the game on their turf despite us having the facts on our side, the forward-looking vision on our side. Republicans are just able to punch us over and over and over, and after the 30th punch, Democrats are still like, oh my God, I can't believe we just got punched. At some point, we have to punch back, we have to fight back, and we need knife fighters, political knife fighters, metaphorically, of course. And Jasmine Crockett has that brand perfectly. So let's just break down what she did right today. Not only did she bait Marjorie Taylor Greene, she also baited Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace tried to fight Jasmine Crockett, and Jasmine Crockett maintains her composure the entire time. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. And let's just start off with this. MAGA Representative Nancy Mace had a serious meltdown today, after being triggered by a Democratic colleague calling her out during a meeting of the House Oversight Committee. The 119th Congress, we're only about a week into it, and it's already a shit show. The incident took place shortly after the House voted to pass an anti-transgender bill that bars biological men from participating in women's sports. Representative Jasmine Crockett, a Democrat from Texas, took a shot at Mace and other Republicans for putting a target on the most vulnerable in our country, and that is where this all began. Now, I just want to say, Republicans love this trans issue. They use it as a wedge because it helps distract from their lack of competency on every other issue. For example, there is one transgender congresswoman right now, and her name is Representative Sarah McBride. Now, Representative Sarah McBride has said multiple times she wants to keep her head down. Her identity is not a big part of why she is in Congress. She is just like everybody else. Yet Republicans are the ones that are blowing up this one transgender congresswoman and trying to pass bills based on her. So you can see it's a perfect microcosm of the problem where there is one out of 435 members that's trans, and Republicans are trying to turn it into a national story to distract. So let's start off with this clip of Marjorie Taylor Greene. This is where it began, and it almost sounds like she's talking about Matt Gaetz in this clip. Just think about Matt Gaetz while she's saying this.
And keep your biological men who are mentally insane and have sexually perversive ideas, thoughts, and fantasies out of our bathrooms, out of our sports, out of our women's spaces. And if you want to continue to be the party that stands up for that absolute insane bullshit, we'll keep beating you election after election after election. You want to know why? Because y'all are for they, them, and we're for the American people. And we actually do stand up for people's rights. We stand up for the unborn. We stand up for women and children, and we will protect them from the deranged lunatics that you all call women.
When number one, that is just insane. But number two, when she is saying that the mentally ill, biological men need to stay out of women's spaces. If I were a woman, I would feel much more comfortable being around Sarah McBride than somebody like Matt Gaetz, who has an actual history, a legitimate history of being a predator. Meanwhile, Marjorie Taylor Greene will run defense for Matt Gaetz. And when she says she wants rights for all Americans, she means that unless you immigrated here, unless you're gay, unless you're trans, unless you're not a Christian, unless you're brown, I mean, we can keep going, but Marjorie Taylor Greene acting like she's some moral beacon is absolutely laughable. But here's how Representative Jasmine Crockett jumped in about a minute later.
Somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, trans, trans so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen,
and right now she's talking about Representative Nancy Mace. She's looking at Nancy Mace during this. Let me restart this. And the word child really pisses Nancy Mace off.
Somebody's campaign coffers really are struggling right now. So she gonna keep saying trans, trans, trans so that people will feel threatened. And child, listen, I want y'all to tell me whether or
Do
not
not call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I have broken
actually
more
have
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
will
am
in life.
reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that. I
Order.
am not a child.
I am reclaiming my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr. Chairman, the committee is not.
Okay.
If you want to take it outside.
Order.
Point of order. Point of order.
Order.
Okay, I'm sure Comer I'm sure James Comer is going to handle this completely professionally, and he's going to call Nancy Mace out for that threat of violence, right? When somebody says we can take this outside, they're very clearly saying, like, hey, let's go take it outside and fight or whatever.
What the gentlelady said was, we can take this outside if you want. And
Okay, so
that could mean you could go outside and have a cup of coffee or perhaps a beer or,
This
you
cannot
know,
be
I mean,
serious.
we have
seriously,
lots of conversations outside. So I'm going to rule that that it was, just
that it's okay.
that it's okay.
All right, and then point of inquiry.
And remember, this is a slippery slope you're going down because we have
Oh, you're
disagreements
going
in
down
this
the
committee,
slippery
as you
slope.
know.
So just to be clear, in this committee, we can ask, we can
Apparently.
threaten violence on someone as long as
no,
at the
that's
end-
not-
excuse me.
I did
As long
not
as at
threaten
the end-
violence.
Excuse
I
me,
threatened no
excuse me.
violence.
There was
I
no
threatened
violence.
no violence.
There was no violence.
long
no
as
violence.
at the
Don't
end-
create a
I
false
threatened
add a
no
question.
violence.
That's Representative Maxwell Frost, who's pushing back on Comer right now. Just to flex really quickly, I've interviewed both Maxwell Frost and Representative Jasmine Crockett. Great people.
That
No,
was
no
another
violence.
You're
person.
making shit up as
It's
you
good
go
to know.
along. You
Good
might
to
want
know.
to figure this one out.
Order. There was
Mr.
no
I thought you were
Chairman.
cursing today.
No violence.
Mr. Chairman,
No violence.
I'm going to appeal the rule.
This is absolutely absurd. Okay, so Chairman James Comer says, essentially, as long as you phrase it as a question, if you want. So if Jasmine Crockett would have said, yeah, we could go out there and I could beat your ass if you want, would James Comer have been as lenient? Absolutely not. Obviously not. And I'm just going to say it. Honestly, the fact that Jasmine Crockett is black pisses Nancy Mace and Marjorie Taylor Greene off. I don't remember if you guys remember this from a few months back. Marjorie Taylor Greene says something about Jasmine Crockett's eyelashes or maybe earrings, just some really weird racially coded comment, and she would not have said that to a white representative. I'm just going to say it. I genuinely think that Jasmine Crockett being black makes Nancy Mace extra mad. Extra mad. Let's go back and watch this clip one more time because it's when she's using the word child where Nancy Mace really starts to freak out.
Do
Or
not
not.
call me a child. I am no child.
I want
Don't
to
even
find
start.
out
I am a grown
which
woman.
of those
I am 47 years
emails
old. I am
You're a grown woman, and then you say right after, we can take this outside like you're some sort of, not even frat bro. This is something from middle school.
broken
actually
more
have-
glass ceilings than you
Chairman,
ever
I
Order,
am
please.
reclaiming my
Let's go.
time.
You will not do that. I
Order.
am not a
Chairman,
child.
I am
not a
reclaiming
child.
my time.
If you want to take it outside,
Mr.
we can
Chairman,
do
the
that.
committee is not
Okay.
in order.
All right. Order.
This person is absolutely a child, and they've proven this throughout this entire day. But let's continue reading this article. Quote, the fact that you just sat up there and somehow figured out how to tie trans folk to your argument makes no sense to me. But let me tell you something. Trans people ain't going anywhere. Just like when the racists wanted to make sure that black people somehow are going to be dismissed in this country, we ain't left either, Crockett said. Crockett continued, referring to Mace's selling merchandise of her efforts to keep trans women out of bathrooms, quote, somebody's campaign coffers are really struggling right now, so she's going to keep saying trans, trans, trans. That's the clip that we just watched. Then Nancy Mace jumps in and interjects, and then Chairman James Comer says, you know, when he says we could take this outside, that could mean for a cup of coffee, perhaps a beer. This is the type of gaslighting that Democrats go through on a day-to-day basis, and it's honestly driving me mad. Do you know how many times Republicans said, after the election, for example, hey, you guys called us fascists, you said that Trump was like Hitler, but he doesn't have any imperial ambitions. What's fascist about Trump, other than him trying to overthrow an election? Now, 2 months later, we have all of them using the same rhetoric about imperial ambitions. They're lining up behind Trump and saying, yeah, maybe we should take Greenland through military coercion. So it just, I do not buy the idea, number one, obviously, that it was to go outside and have a cup of coffee, but that Republicans are approaching in good faith at all. And we're being gaslit by thinking that. And I'm not saying Democrats should start storming the Capitol or should be absolute freaks like Nancy Mace. Of course, that's not the argument I'm making, but we have to punch back. We can't get punched in the face 30 times and be surprised each time. And this is coming from a lifelong Democrat, a liberal. You guys know that I'm not leaving the Democratic Party. I'm just saying this because I want us to be better so we can beat people like Nancy Mace. The fact that Trump is returning to power is mind-boggling. And as much as it was about inflation and about all of these different things, about Biden dropping out too late, a lot of it is Democratic messaging. If we were the messengers that we should be, then Trump would be in jail right now because he tried to overthrow an election. And yeah, I'll leave it at that. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you subscribe. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you in the next video. Peace out.